Hey, wow, we're live.
Yay!
And we have audio, which is a really good thing.
Yes.
Um, well, so let's jump right in. So first of all, everyone, welcome to the Impact Tribe Live. This is where we meet, greet, and learn about leaders who are positively impacting the world. We are streaming live, hopefully, fingers crossed, on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook. I am your host, Ashley Bright, the Message Fixer, and today I am joined by my friend and amazing human being, Rebekah Welch. Rebekah is the Communications and Development Manager for TMM Family Services, where she helps veterans, seniors, and families in crisis take control of their lives and move forward with strength.
Yes.
Rebekah, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. I'm thrilled. I jumped at the opportunity the second I heard. I was like, please, yes, I would love to.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I originally actually did this back just leading into the pandemic, and then I didn't really sustain myself through the pandemic with it. And so this is my chance to redeem, and no better person to start with than you. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Um, you're very so. Let me start by asking you, so you're working at TMM Family Services.
Mhm.
How did you get into this? And I'd love to know kind of why this matters to you, because I know obviously there's a history there which you and I have discussed, but I'm curious how that's kind of driven you in the work that you're doing.
Yeah. So let me think. I relocated back to Tucson. I went to college in Dallas, came back to Tucson. My family's been here for quite some time. And I started out my career like all young people I feel do and was in sales. And it was great. I was decent at it. It was fun, but I was really looking for more meaningful work, like what's something that my head and my heart kind of feel this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And so I kind of searched around through the nonprofit world, did some consulting for a little bit, and then had the opportunity to connect with our CEO here at TMM. And I just was like, this is the best place. TMM, we do affordable housing for very specific groups. So the seniors, veterans, and then single moms. And that's our program called Family Journey. And I am the daughter of a single mom. I benefited from low income housing whenever we were younger. And so that was something that's near and dear to my heart, really making an impact on people. That was something I really wanted to do. And I get to be creative and have fun at the same time. Like, who would not want to jump at that? So, that's kind of how I landed where I'm at. But I do love it. It's a blessing and an honor to be able to work with something that I see myself in the future. I'm like, this also could be your story. It's awesome to be able to inspire others and connect with them on more than just a professional level.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I mean, it's so rewarding to find something that strikes that balance.
Hmm.
You know, it's challenging, it kind of tugs at your heart, and it's something you can really kind of get behind.
Hmm.
And I've, you know, I think when we've spoken before, I've mentioned my wife a number of occasions, but like she comes from a very different background than me, and it's really driven her to put herself into these roles and these organizations that are directly helping people. And she'll often say, like, I've been through the worst of the worst, and everything is gravy from
Hmm.
here. And it's wonderful that you're bringing that to the community and helping others and help. I love the moving forward with strength.
Yeah.
There's something really powerful in that, because I think there's too much of this deficit language, but when we talk about strength and opportunity, I think that's wonderful.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's very cool to be able to relate, not from a victim role, but more of a survivor. And a lot of our residents that come here are overcoming, difficult circumstances, being a victim of domestic violence or, escaping from a difficult living situation and whatever that looks like. Unfortunately and fortunately, I have a lot of relatability to those situations. So it's weird how sometimes the messy becomes part of like the amazing, that you change that narrative and kind of come at it from a different look of, oh, this really crappy situation that I lived through and I experienced, now has kind of given me the tools to be able to pay it forward and help some people that are in a similar boat. So that's been a blessing, truly.
Yeah, and it's interesting, I grew up fairly privileged, and I think that I was very unaware of a lot of things that were going on in the world. And it was interesting, we spoke about sort of domestic violence, and obviously that manifests in a whole bunch of different ways. But when I really, when I met my wife and sort of learning about the work that she did, it struck me just how common
Mm-hmm.
that is, unfortunately, in our culture, in our world. And so when you talk about like this could be you, or it touches a lot of different people,
Mm-hmm.
this is sort of true for so many people. And whether we're talking about domestic violence or trauma or other things, it's like we're all on this journey, and then we're all sort of facing these challenges.
Yes.
And I think we saw that. I felt so happy to be able to see the culmination of the fast pitch event. Back was that in April?
Yes. No, it was in March. March
Oh,
was
March. Okay.
a whole event. Yes. Yes. Feels like a lifetime ago. I can't even believe that I did that. But yeah, yeah, it was really, that was the coolest part, honestly, for me, was being able to find some, I don't want to say research, because a lot of it was my lived experience that I was able to share in that.
Hmm.
But kind of being able to back it up, like something that I did say in my pitch is 1 in every 4 women will experience domestic violence in their lifetime. And that's true. And that's staggering. If you're looking at a group of 4 people standing around, one of them at least is going to experience that. And obviously the different types of abuse and the different types of trauma play out, those numbers are even more staggering than 1 in 4. But a lot of the comments that I got afterwards were, I did not realize how prevalent this was. And it gave me the blessing of having the platform to go up and say, like, I also am a survivor of circumstances such as this. And people are like, whoa, because you create this vision in your head of what that typically looks like. And so to see it look differently than how you pictured, people are totally caught off guard by that. And so it created a lot of really cool movement, I think, in the conversation surrounding domestic violence, surrounding affordable housing, even. That's something that people don't really picture going hand in hand, and it truly is. So yeah, it was crazy that a lot of people, it changed their perspective, I think, on how many people are truly affected by those things.
And that, I mean, when we talk, my thing is communication. And so when we talk about communicating, sharing new ideas, I mean, getting people to see a different perspective, getting their eyes opened about something is sort of the primary goal,
Mm-hmm.
and so to be able to do that. So let me ask you this, because you have this incredible personality. You're very open and welcoming to people, and you're very authentic in the way you speak to people. How has that process going through fast pitch, or just communication in general,
Mm-hmm.
kind of played a role in your life and your career up to this
Yeah.
point?
Yeah. I think if you asked my family, the version of me as like a kid, which I talk about in my pitch, being the little girl, being that little girl, I was such an introverted, shy, very closed off person. And I think that was a culmination of like just being kind of a nerd. And also my circumstances, like I just wasn't very trusting of people. And so that really didn't come until truly even after college. When I was looking for my career path, I was like, oh, you can either fake it till you make it, or not do it. And so I became the kind of fake it till you make it girl. And what I learned is that there are so many people. Fast Pitch is a perfect example of this, because we just actually had like a little reunion dinner with our little Fast Pitch family from our class this past weekend. And we were reflecting still back on our time, and like, what has the aftermath looked like? And what is everyone's life like now? And one of the things I said was, I actually was not expecting to be in the Fast Pitch class. I hadn't even applied on behalf of our organization. Somebody else had done that predating me. And so when I got the call saying, hey, you're in Fast Pitch, I was like, woo! Like I didn't even know that was a thing. And so going to some of the beginning events, I felt kind of like you have to earn your seat almost. Like I felt underqualified to be in the room, and I'm looking around at all these other fantastic nonprofit leaders and thinking like, I don't know if I'm really qualified to sit at this table. But they truly became like second family to me. And that was an experience learning that, people will listen and people will give you a voice. And sometimes you have to assert that, and sometimes they just give it to you blindly. And it helped me to learn that I do deserve the seat at the table, and that I am capable of doing things that I didn't realize that I was capable of. And authenticity for me has always been something that's super important, because it's very easy to put on that mask and, put on a brave face and act like everything's fine. And I did that for a very long time in my life. And so once I was like, I don't want to do this anymore, this is something that I can thrive through and become a survivor of. Taking down that mask and really just being real and saying, I don't know if I don't know if I really should be here, but I am. So we're gonna make it work. That has really boosted both my self-confidence, but also like my professional status. I want to say, like, a lot of people saying it was really brave of you to go up and share the things that you did, or you're so well spoken, or I can't even believe that this is your life. And I'm like, thank you. And also, I don't know another way to be. Like, it's just how I am. So it was an adventure. One of my fast pitch classmates calls it facing the dragon, overcoming the dragon of fast pitch. And it did feel that way. But it was such a blessing and a really awesome experience that I'd recommend to truly anyone to go through.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, it's interesting. I mean, you communication or getting up on stage is like one of the sort of top 10 fears that people have.
Yeah.
And so you couple that with then being vulnerable and
Mhm.
transparent and putting yourself out there. And it's this really interesting. I love this about sort of human society, that we're really a tribe, right? And we want to sort of see each other succeed, and we want to have that universal kind of experience. And so to get up there and share something that, as you said, 1 in 4 people. And so
Mhm.
that means there's a huge chunk of people in that audience that are immediately relating. There's another chunk that I guarantee they may not be experiencing it, but they know someone that is.
Mhm.
And, so to have that resonate is powerful. I was actually, yesterday I was on LinkedIn, and someone I follow was posting a video about how similar to you, that they last minute someone had said, hey, I can't go to this speaking event in Vegas, can you jump in and do it for me? And she had all of those anxieties and that uncertainty and imposter syndrome and everything, but then just, as you said, sort of like faced the dragon, overcame that fear, and went up there.
Mhm.
And you could tell this video was like, she was elated, there was this energy, she was sort of more confident. And she said it was an amazing room of people, they were all
Mhm.
there to support her. And I love to hear those sort of experiences, because it's something that fuels me when I work with people, is that, like, I think we all have value, we all have something really important to share from our
Mhm.
experience, from our knowledge. And to see someone get that boost, that energy, and
Mhm.
feel that reciprocation from others is, I think it's sort of like it's a new experience for many people.
Yeah.
And so, to see that is I just feel joyful that I get to, see that and interact with people like you and this person I was chatting with on LinkedIn and my clients. It's wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah. And a lot of people don't hear it. I'm not, you think about like the five love languages. Words of affirmation has never been my thing, because I feel like when people give a compliment, my like gut reaction is to be like, oh, thanks, like so awkward about it. But people like to hear that they're doing a good job, or that they're making a difference, or that, what you said really impacted me. And that's something that a lot of people don't hear. We see it all the time at TMM with our constituents. Like, even just being told, like, hey, I really like your dress today. A lot of the women are like, oh my gosh, I've never received a compliment. Like, and that's sad. We should build each other up more. Like, words have power, and you can use that for good, truly.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think that, it's very interesting in our society that we're always, I think there's this sort of this front that we put up in many cases, and whether it's what we're wearing or how we interact or the car we drive or the way we carry ourselves. And but behind that, I think there's the reality of being a human being.
Mhm.
There's challenges, there's uncertainty, there's anxiety, and So to have those moments, as you said, like throughout your day, where it's just a little something, a
Mhm.
little acknowledgement, a little awareness, a little presence, can go a long way. And I think we need so much more of that. I mean, it's very interesting. I find with sort of social media and the algorithms, like depending on what you interact with, you get more of that.
Yeah.
And it's and I think that there's that idea that in life, like what you focus on, the world will give you more of, the universe will give
Mhm.
you more of that. And so if you're focusing on those good moments, those positive comments, those good interactions, those true interactions, I think that you naturally start to train yourself to see more of that.
Mhm.
Because conversely, I mean, our bodies are all about sort of survival. And so if you're always looking for the negative or the fear or whatever, hey, the
That's
body
very
is
true.
attuned to find that for you and will,
Yes.
here it
Yes.
is. Here it is
Yeah.
again.
You're welcome. It's another
Exactly. We'll
reminder.
just throw, oh, you're almost happy. Well, we're going to throw this one at you.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
So
So,
on that point, I'm curious. So, what sort of things in your life do you do for joy or bring you joy? Because obviously some of the work you're doing can be, I'm sure, a little challenging and emotionally taxing at times.
yes, that is putting it kind of lightly. Yes.
I figured, but
Yes, truly I'm a family girl through and through. I would really be nowhere without my fam. So my sister and I are like best friends. She's in college at NAU, but she's home for the summer. So I spend a lot of time with her right now these days. I have a little brother too, who's every bit of 14. So I love being able to hang out with him. My mom is getting married this year. So we're
yay.
celebrating. Yeah, it's exciting. So we're kind of in the wedding era for her right now, which is a really good distraction. Like, hey, Beck, can you come over and help me with some of this? I'm like, yeah, I guess we'll just live the wedding life. But outside of my family, truly, I love being outside. Travel has always been something that's really important to me. I grew up in a military family, so it was like a blessing and a curse of being able to move and see all the things, and also truly like leaving every couple of years and never feeling quite settled. But I love to travel. I One of my favorite things to do is leave at like 11 p.m. on a Friday and drive to San Diego, because there's no traffic in the middle of the night and you get there by sunrise and it's gorgeous. So I frequent that. I like hiking. It's a little too toasty out there right now, but I do take my dog and do some of that and read a good book. I mean, to name a few things, but truly just unwinding. That's my thing. I just like to sit and be still. I'm less of a planning girl and more of a fly by the seat of your pants type. So it's fun. I don't know, spur of the moment kind of ideas, you know?
I love it. I'm all about that late night drive.
Mm-hmm.
There's something I remember when I was in college. I went to college in LA, and I would go out after midnight and drive around. And there was something kind of fascinating about being in this, at least in LA, this like huge built out infrastructure. And there
Mm-hmm.
were very few people around, and I was just like zipping around on different freeways and,
Yes.
the wind in your hair and that kind of
Yes.
thing.
I'm a windows down in the middle of the night drive type of girl for sure. Which people are like, "Are you not afraid?" I'm like, "Why?" It's actually less scary. There's not so many people, so it's less scary. You just turn on, I like audiobooks or a good, playlist, and I just blast some jams and drive the night. So fun. It's like the most freeing experience ever. Actually, more people should do this.
I
Is what
agree. I agree. That's wonderful. So I'm curious though. So you're still. I mean, I say you're young. You've had a lifetime of experience already. I think more than some. But um, what is sort of something that you would say to date is kind of like your biggest win or your biggest success that you're proud of, or just what kind of resonates with you? I guess in that
I
regard.
Oh, that is a great question. Truly, it's going to sound very cliche. Fast pitch is one of those things for me. It really is. Boiling down all of your thoughts into like a 3-minute pitch and doing it really well, or trying to, that was really hard. That was a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. I really thought, like, first rough draft, writing out what I was going to say, I was like, nailed it. And you overcome so much, like hearing people's feedback and getting their thoughts and trying to shift through like what makes sense for me and what doesn't stick. And so that was one of those really big accomplishments for me. And honestly, in the same vein, like tackling the Fox Theater and being able to go up there and do that was crazy. Weirdly though, when I look back on like all the other things that I've done throughout my life, there's a lot of things that I feel like accomplished about. Like the first time you drive a car, you feel really accomplished. The first time that I was able to shift gears without stalling out, I was like, we're winning at life right now. The first time I bought a dog, my first apartment, right? Like these are little things, but whenever I went and prosecuted my abuser, truly, being able to go to court and say my victim statement and feel very like validated in that people were hearing what I had to say, regardless of whether they wanted to or not. They had to sit there and listen. That part was a really big win for me. And I remember I talked in my pitch, like I said, about, you know, being that little girl and dealing with living in an abusive situation. But I didn't really go into how that personally impacted me. And truly, I didn't feel like I needed to, because at that point I had already done it. And it was with my family and truly anybody that was in the courtroom at the time, which felt very personal, but that was a huge win and something that I still talk about in a way in my work, because people don't know. I mean, like the next step in a lot of cases is to be able to pursue a legal process or, you know, go to therapy and talk about some of those things. And that's hard. People don't feel comfortable doing that. But I do attribute that to a really big win for me. I think that was kind of a pivotal moment. I am still quite young, so I know I'm sure I'll have many more milestones down the road that'll be like, I felt way more successful here than I did then. But that was like a pivotal moment for me, where I think I kind of was able to put down that part. And really the second that I moved past that specific court date was whenever I was truly able to like launch into where I'm at now. And it's still something that I think about pretty often as like, if you can overcome that, then you can do this. Like you can do hard things because you've done it before.
100%. Yeah. I mean, that is the thing. We it's those little kind of wins throughout the day, throughout the week, throughout the month. And then, you know, leading to what you've just described, those kind of mountains, whether they're emotional and you know, I think we all have those moments. And I think that the way you described it, like kind of facing the dragon, you know, in terms of fast pitch, I think that is, you know, it's hard. It's hard. And for everybody, it's different, you know, that facing the dragon could be a really small thing, but it's huge for you. And I love that it kind of, you took that as that opportunity to sort of take back your power, you know, and just be this, it's, you know, and that's one of the things it took me years, I'm, you know, to really see that in other people and see that in myself and see that opportunity that exists in doing that. So I'm so proud, you know, because I've had these conversations with you, and your mom is very vocal. I see where you get that energy from. So I have some of that backstory, and it's really incredible. And so congratulations for doing that. So I just Frank Vidal is just chimed in, and he says, you know, driving overnight is so underrated.
It is.
So
it is. It's
late night.
I appreciate a fellow night driver. Thank you, Frank.
Yes,
Good
yes.
to see you in the chat. But yes,
Definitely.
It's
It is. And I remember, this is funny, when we moved from Scottsdale back down to Tucson, I remember everyone else had kind of moved, and I was left cleaning the house. And so it was probably 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. And I headed out with whatever I could stuff into the back of my car. And I'm heading down the 101 out of Scottsdale, and it's like 3 in the morning. And there was not a single car on the road. And I swear to God, it felt surreal and like a video game, because you've got the little reflectors coming at you on the road. And I just remember that sort of weird, surreal moment of like, all right, I'm leaving Dodge.
Yes.
We're heading out.
Yes. It's like that's how I feel. I'm telling you, I've done this like several times, driven to San Diego in the middle of the night. And like you pass so many like mountain ranges, but there's one part on the drive between California and Arizona where there's the like windmills. It's like a field. During the daytime, you can see what they are, and it's super cool. At night though, it's just like all the little, flashing like red lights of this field. And my girlfriend and I, the first time that we were going, she was like, girl, are we about to get abducted or something? What is going on? What is in this field? Like, what are all those lights? I'm like, girl, you've never seen a windmill before. That's what that is. It's okay. But, it looks totally
Are we about
different.
to get abducted? I love it.
Yes, yes.
So I feel like I kind of have some sense of at least one of the people in this list for this next question, but I'm curious, when you look back at kind of your life, what are three of the most, well, it can be any number, but three of the most influential people in your life, and how have they impacted you?
Mm. That is tough.
And you don't have to
Think.
do three. We're not keeping score here.
Okay, good. Okay, good. No, for sure, one of them obviously is my mom. I'd be remiss if I didn't say that. She really has been like the peak example of how to overcome like tough things and become a badass. I don't know a better way to put that. Truly, she is that.
She is a badass. I will
She is a
concur with
badass.
that.
She is a force to be reckoned with. I have joked before, she's like a bull in a china shop, and I'm coming behind her with the broom, sometimes to clean it up. And I do. That woman, she can be a little crazy, but with love, she is crazy. So yeah, I would be remiss if I didn't say that. This is kind of a joking answer, not really, but a lot of my friends, and for some reason, randomly, this came up recently in like a meeting. One of the most influential people to me that I've never actually met and never will, is Steve Irwin, the crocodile hunter.
Ah, yes.
I think actually it was Frank that was hosting a class at Community Foundation, and I shared that. But I was obsessed with the crocodile hunter when I was a kid. I like wanted to be the crocodile hunter. I was like, I'm going to go out and do this. And I cared a lot about animals and conservation at like 8. So I was like, I must do this. This is my mission. And I remember when Steve Irwin passed, I was devastated. It was like a familial loss. Like I was devastated. Because I looked up to him so much. Like he was like my idol. I loved him. So weirdly, he's someone I still post all the time on my social media about Steve Irwin. And people are like, oh my gosh, will this ever end? And the answer is no, it won't. I'm obsessed with him. It is what it is.
He was such a unique, distinctive character. Just
Yes.
everything about him.
Yes.
And it was very unfortunate what happened, but I
Mhm.
guess you could argue at least he was doing something that he loved.
Yes.
And,
100%. Yes, but he's one of those influential people to me for sure. Honestly, my any mentor or I'd even put my therapist in this category. Shout out to her. She has saved my life on more than one occasion for sure. But yeah, I think like my mom has used it before, and I've kind of like taken the phrase and adopted it as my own. But a people collector, which sounds a little serial killer, and I don't mean it that way. But
it's all
more,
about context.
yes, for context, not in that way. But people collector meaning like everything that I have grown to be professionally or even personally, any real accomplishment is kind of like a collaboration of so many other voices in the room, and lessons that I've learned from other people. And so I want to give credit all the time. It's in my nature to be like, and this person told me this, and this person, and sometimes you don't have the space to do that. So I just truly call myself a people collector. But everything that I have learned and things that I implement for myself professionally, for myself personally, like I said, are things that I've learned from other people. So really, anyone that's been in my life has made an impact. Good, bad, ugly, doesn't really matter. They still led me to where I'm at today. So credit, I guess, to literally anyone in my entire life. That sounds very cliche. I don't know.
Well,
Um,
I mean, it is about that community.
mhm.
You surround yourself with, you learn from everybody. And, side note, Frank just chimed in. He's saying, I knew you were going to say this.
Yeah,
He's talking about
about
Frank Irwin.
I'm telling you, it's true. I was like, he's like a father figure to me, weirdly. And yeah, that's funny. Yes, it's true. I can't not bring him up. I can't not. I can't
Well, I
not.
love that you own it too. You're
Yeah.
not like, I'm not shy. It's Irwin. He's the man.
No, one of my girlfriends, she feels that way about Gordon Ramsay.
Mm,
Which is such a weird because all I can think is like, you're an idiot sandwich. Like
yeah, yeah.
he just seems so mean, but whatever. Hers is Gordon Ramsay and mine is Steve Irwin. So we always were just sending each other things back and forth, you know, and I'm proud of it. I'm proud of it. I
That's
really
awesome. Own it. Own it.
am.
All right, so we're just about out of time, but I want to see if I can get one last question in here. And this one, I don't know, this could be a big one, could be not, but if you could be remembered for one thing, what would it be?
Oh my gosh. One thing. So
Or it could be
honestly,
two things, I suppose.
yes, I've had this conversation before with other people, and I'm like, there's no such thing as good people. I don't think that there's such a thing. Like, there are no good people. We all are gonna hurt somebody's feelings or mess up or whatever. So I don't want to be a good person. I feel like that's such a generic like compliment to be like, oh, she was kind and she was good. I truly just hope that when people think about me, that it's like she was very authentic. She was real. Like, I really do hope that. Whether you agree with what I've said or not, whether you're championing me or being like, I hope she fails, I really just hope that people remember me for being real. Like, I try my best to be the same person here that I would be getting drinks at Batch downtown, that I would be, you know, on my weekend on a hike. Like, I hope that I am universally the same. And I just hope that I'm remembered for being real. I don't know how else to put that. I think that's
Well, I think that you just put it the way it should be put, because that's wonderful. And from our interactions, you are 100% that person, authentic and real and transparent, and I love it, and I appreciate it, and I just want to thank you so much for being here,
yeah.
and sharing yourself, and also for the work that you're doing. I mean, it's all about how we can sort of create a community that's thriving, how we can support each other, whether it's this group or that group. And, I just want to thank you for what you're doing. And thank
Thank
you for
you.
being you. Thank you for being real.
Thank you. I'll keep it real always. Thank you. It was an honor to be here. Thank you for inviting me, and I'm
My pleasure.
tune into all the rest of them. I can't wait to see. I really
Awesome. Yes, I'm excited. So with that in mind, for anyone who's watching or hasn't caught this, it will be available. The replay will be available on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook. I'm assuming Facebook. I linked it up. I never use Facebook, so we'll see. Who knows? We'll see. This might not even be going on LinkedIn, because they said they had trouble with LinkedIn this morning, so I have no idea. But I know it's on YouTube because Frank's chiming in. So thank you, Frank, for validating that we're actually live somewhere. All right, so join me next Impact Tribe Live, Thursday, July 11th, when my guest will be Todd R. LeBlanc. He's the author of Right Now, the Book of Odd. And as I said to him the other day, I said, Todd, I love what we talk about. I can't understand 90% of it because it's like rocket science and all these really heady topics, but he makes it very accessible and interesting, and so I'm excited to have him on the next show.
I'm excited.
Thank you. So with that, Rebekah, I will say thank you again, and thank you everyone that's watching, and this has been a joy for me, and I appreciate it, and I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of the week and a great weekend.
Yes. Thank you. Bye.